Hey, thanks for coming to class tonight. We're going to talk about 3 types of strategic family therapy. Mental Research Institute, which is MRI, brief therapy, Haley and Medane strategic therapy, and the Milan systemic model. So let's begin with the MRI brief therapy. We're going to go through a few definitions to start with. As we go through the definitions, these are things you're going to want to know in order to understand the theory involved here. Don Jackson defined family rules as a description of regularity, not regulation. Family homeostasis. The rules of family interaction seek to preserve family homeostasis. Any member can act to preserve this state of being and resist the change. It doesn't matter if it's the mom or the dad or the younger brother or the older sister. If any of them perceive a threat to the family organization and structure, they're going to adapt accordingly and make sure that that does not happen. Now this theory came from communication theorists actually. Now communication theorists assume circular causality and they do not look for underlying motives. So there's no psychology involved with it. They don't look at what happened in the past or what's going on with motives and things like that. As a communication major in my undergrad, I can assure you the reason for this, we're far too casual and unprofessional to understand psychological motives. It's much safer this way. So they look at these feedback loops. Negative feedback loops and positive feedback loops. Now a negative feedback loop will maintain integrity in the face of environmental challenges. Resist disruptions to maintain a steady state. Kind of like Aesop's fable when you had a man that the sun and the wind were trying to get a man to take his coat off, and the wind blew and blew and blew, and the more the man blew, the tighter the man clenched his jacket. That would be a type of negative feedback loop. They maintain it no matter what. Now a positive feedback loop amplifies the innovations to accommodate changed circumstances. Very similar to when the sun rose in the air and the higher and higher it got, the warmer and warmer it got, eventually the man took off his jacket. 2 types of changes are involved here. You're going to want to know these definitions too. First order changes. They focus on the specific behavior within a system. Second order changes focuses on the rules of the system. Now it's your job as a therapist to help people see things differently. They call it reframing. Again, another definition you're going to want to know. Changing the interpretation of behavior, thus altering the reaction to the behavior. When we talk about reframing things, we're talking about the hierarchical structure. J. Haley found, and there's no surprise here, inadequate parental hierarchies were lurking behind most problems. Bad parenting, in this case, is the result of logical application of misdiagnosed problems. They're great at the blame game, but terrible about identifying what the real problem is. That issue is something you're going to need to look for. You're going to need to see it somewhere in the family. That's where you as a therapist are outside of the family circle. You're not caught up in the fog of war. And once you understand the family and see what the problem is, you can then prescribe an ordeal. The price for keeping a symptom outweighs that of giving it up. Now as we turn to it, I'm going to show you one brief example on a little whiteboard of mine.